Okay, today's project will be taking out the shock towers so that we can get them coated, and we're going to be coating with Herculiner, and it's because I don't want to put on some simple spray can type undercoating, so I want it to be very durable and I want it to last. So we'll be coming in here, and it would be this part here, the tower itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out this liner here, and then we're going to unbolt these, and then we're going to pull it up and then unbolt the shock and then take them out on both sides. So first thing we're going to do is take off this liner, and we got just a couple bolts that hold it on. They're real small, and we'll take that off of both sides with a 5/16 socket, and then as soon as we get off, we'll check back in. Okay, now both of the wheel wells are out. I got them here in the garage, just kind of sitting out of the way. A little tidbit for anyone else trying to do something like this: label all your bolts, put them in a little plastic baggie, set them aside. If you just set them aside, in a pile or something, there's a good chance you're going to get bolts mixed up and whatnot. I'm not saying you're going to do it with this project, because all the bolts are pretty different in size and whatnot, and quantity. But it's good to be organized. It kind of helps out. But anywho, so we're back over here. Got the wheel wells out. As we take a look up in here, like I said, this is what we're taking out. So now we got 3 bolts to take out, and then we're gonna unbolt the top, take this out. So we'll see what size these nuts on the bolts are, and we'll get them out of here. Okay, so we're in here taking off these bolts, and I already went ahead and loosened them up a bit. And I don't have my air compressor hooked up, otherwise this would be zip and done. So we're in here, we're just kind of cranking. I want to get under here and do the entire suspension and this Herculiner stuff. Not because someone told me it was a good idea or nothing, just I want to make this truck last for a really long time, because I don't really intend to sell it. But I mean, if I did, at least I could put this on the list of things that are going to make it worth buying this on, or things of that nature. And the difference with me and how other shops do an undercoating is, I'll fucking take it apart, sand it all down, make it really nice. That way, I know what I've done is gonna last me 5 years, or however long. I just don't want to do it once and then, it's in a year busted. So that's what we're doing. A little maintenance work, a little bit of preventative maintenance work, I should say. And as we're taking these nuts off, we got our labeled baggie here again, and it's good to, like I said, label what it is you're putting in there, and what size it was, so you can have the tool ready to put it back on and whatnot. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't just leave my tools lay out, other than on my workbench, so let's not count that. But other than that, I don't really leave my tools lay out. I do drop them occasionally. But yeah, where the fuck did it go? We have an MIA wrench. Alright. Okay, so now that I've stopped dropping and breaking my tools, and I've got all the nuts off those bolts, I need to take off the top strut tower I'm sorry, shock tower nut that's on there, that's all connected to the Rancho shocks I have, and it is a 19 millimeter, and we're just gonna go ahead and take it off. Okay, so now that I'm done dropping and breaking my tools and losing shit, we're gonna get in here to where the shock is under the tower. We got to remove the protective boot, slide it down, and in here is a nut that you're gonna have to get onto with a wrench with one hand, which is a what the hell is it, 3/4? Yeah, it's a 3/4. And you have to hold that with one hand, and above top there is a 19 millimeter nut on top of this shock. And you got the other hand got to take it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's nice to have a friend around or a buddy or something, but it's just me. Project Cummins is a one-man operation. Again, if you have a air compressor, this won't take as long. Feeling pretty loose. Alright, so once the nut's pretty loose and whatnot, you can go ahead, take off the nut, and take off the bushing and washer. Bushing and washer sit down just like this, and the nut is on top of it. That's how you're going to put it back on, so just remember that. Okay, now that the 3 nuts on the base are out, the washing, bushing, and nut on the top is out, we can simply push down the shock just a little bit, lift up the tower, and take it right out. Now I've gone ahead and taken out the other tower on the driver's side, and here's what we have. You can see that the original black that was on there is kind of chipping off and rusting underneath, and that's the reason we're doing this. I want to make a note that I didn't jack up the truck. I didn't, it's not on, jack stands, nothing like that nature. I mean, the spring is still in there, so it's going to be able to hold itself up, and you just want to make sure you don't drive the truck. That can result in all kinds of bad things, from your spring popping out while you're driving to you flipping the fuck over and rolling the truck and dying. I mean, don't drive the truck while this shit's out. But you don't have to jack it up or put it on stands. So now that we got these, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clean them and sand them. So that'll be next. I decided for cleaning these, what I was going to do is just get my simple green mixture, which is a degreaser, and I'm just going to go ahead and spray those down and let them soak for a little bit, and then I'm going to take them inside and then rinse them off. So let's get these tires sprayed down. And you'll notice I'm not real afraid to use a good bit of this stuff because I buy it in 5-gallon totes of it. And yeah, I degrease a lot. So we're going to let those soak for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to go take them to the utility sink and we're going to rinse them off. Okay, so after letting them soak for about 10 minutes and then going inside and washing them down, I also had a little scrubby pad, so I gave them a little brushing down, and my dog likes the smell of the Simple Green. But yeah, they're already starting to look a little better. Gave them a little bit more of a sheen to them, but I'm not really worried about that. It's just, you know, the grease is missing now. So the next thing we want to do is, now that they're ready, you want to go ahead and get out some sandpaper, or if you got a sandblasting kit, you know, go ahead and sandblast these. Whatever you got to do to get down to bare metal or get all the rust off and all the paint off. Okay, so now we got a bucket to catch any shavings that we're going to do and whatnot. We got our shark tire piece here, and I got a, you know, just a little hand sander. You can pick this up down at like Lowe's or whatever for like $10. Comes with some grip paper. This one right here is a 50 grit paper, and we're going to be using it to get as much off as we can by hand. There might be a time where you have to take this off and do it, you know, with your finger on it, just to get into some delicate places, you know, like right in here and whatnot, and down here. This would be a great job for sandblaster. Once again, I don't have my shit hooked up. I don't have any hose, and you know, we're just kind of doing what we can for the time being. So you want to get this, you know, fairly firmly on top of here, and just start scrubbing it away until you see it'll start coming through. See that sheen? So let's shut up and get to work. Gonna take a while, so be patient. So I got a little bit of frustrated trying to sand that shit by hand. You can hear the compressor running there. So I took out the sandblasting kit I got, and yeah, I kind of went to work at her. Pretty good. Got as much as I really could. And yeah, one down, one to go. So she does a pretty good job. So I'm gonna get this one blasted, and then we'll check back in. Well, now that we got everything all sandblasted, we're gonna take our brush here and get some of this bed liner goop on it. And just kind of paint the whole thing up. I'm not gonna put a real heavy coat on her, just enough. And once it starts to dry up and gets real tacky like, we'll put another coat on here. Now by sandblasting or sanding or whatever you're doing, by doing that and getting all the rust off, it's going to last a lot longer than if you just would have simply scuffed it a little bit. And since this stuff is kind of made to be beat on, since it's made to go in the bed of your truck, it's going to take a hell of a lot better beating underneath the body and whatnot, and last a hell of a lot longer. Make sure you get in them holes too. Remember, everything on this is now a clean surface. You know, down to bare metal. So you want to make sure you don't miss anything. Because any bare metal, once it's exposed and out in the humidity and whatnot, especially for where I live over here in the eastern part of Ohio, and it gets real humid out here, this the bare metal will start to rust up. Happen right overnight. So you kind of want to make this all done in one day. When I bought the stuff, it was relatively cheap, you know, compared to the other bed liner items that you could buy. And I thought, well, fuck, if I'm gonna get so cheap, I'm gonna put it everywhere. I'm gonna make everything last as long as possible. Because the engine on these trucks, you know, the diesels, shit, they'll last million and a half, 2 million miles. You know, you take care of everything right. And you know, if the engine's gonna last that long, why shouldn't the rest of the truck last so long? So I'm gonna get to painting here and get this finished up with the first coat on these two, and afterwards we'll check back in here. Well, we got the first coat of it on here, and we're just kind of waiting now for it to dry up in the sun. Not real sure on how long this is gonna take. I'm expecting, you know, half hour and it'll be tacky to, you know, a little bit dry enough just for me to kind of handle it and turn it over and paint the top and give it one more coat. Other than that, you don't really need a thick coat here on the feet because, you know, it's going to be touching other metal. But on the top and whatnot, you know, we need 2 coats and we're done decently. So I'm going to let that dry, give another coat, and we'll see what happens. So the Herculiner didn't exactly dry up as quick as I had hoped. It took all night for it to clear up and, you know, dry for me to touch it. So 24 hours later, here we are, putting on that second coat. And now they're just sitting there trying to dry up right now. Gotta cut this video a little bit short, and you're not gonna see me put it back on the truck. And that's mostly because I don't think I'm ready to put it back on the truck. I think there's other things I want to take off and fuck with. So, truck's down for a little bit. I gotta call around, see if I can't find some more blasting abrasive. No one fucking sells it around here. And yeah, so that's how you put some Herculiner on your shock tires. Wasn't as in depth as I wanted and whatnot, but nice little video. And yeah, I'll get this posted, and we'll see what I get into next.